this one today is going to relate to progress and, making progress towards goals, ambitions, be it in the job or, well, most of us aren't going to strive for a job, are we? If it's going to be career or business or whatever you want to make, right? The gym also counts. And I know that from experience, a lot of people struggle with progress because progress itself is such a weird concept. It's like such a fluid thing, Everybody has their own definition. Everybody sets their own goals. Everybody has their own yardsticks for the progress that they make. But somehow we all agree that progress is something that is both tangible and somehow important. Now, when it comes to things like going to the gym, progress can be quite tangible. After a while, you start to notice you get bigger and you can lift harder. Even if you don't get bigger, that physically bigger, you can notice that you can carry more weights, you can do more reps, whatever it may be, right? So you notice that your body changes and you can kind of measure your progress at that. But with some things, it might be harder to gauge that progress just because it's such a fluid term. It's such a fluid concept. It almost feels like progress is just something that we make up. And, well, to be honest, it is, right? I've noticed recently that my gym progress has slowed down tremendously. I guess you could say that's because the newbie gain stopped, but I think I'm past that point already. It's just that I hit a plateau. It's been that way for, I think a couple of months at this point, and I had some issues during that time. I got sick. I had a teeth operation which knocked me out of the gym for 2 whole weeks. So obviously that kind of slows down the progress as well, because once you're back in the gym, you kind of have to regain all that lost conditioning for a while. But even still, I feel like my progress has been very slow, and I am a very impatient person, and I'm sure some of you out there can relate to this. And so sometimes when you can't see any progress, it just feels like you're running in place and you kind of lose track of where you want to go, and sometimes it just feels pointless. You can be as disciplined as you might be and as motivated as you might like to be, but sometimes our brain just makes us believe that it's just not worth it, that everything we do right now, it's not showing, and we're not really making any progress, and it just feels kind of pointless, and we want to quit because why continue something that doesn't work, right? But I've noticed that progress is very, very, very subjective. And progress is always it's always a comparison between what you want to achieve and what you've achieved so far. So I've noticed that it helps when you start reframing what progress means to you and how you measure progress. In the gym, I always record all my sets. I record, not record with a video camera, but I have this big Excel spreadsheet that I have on my phone, and I just write down all the weights that I did, how many reps I did, how many sets I did, all that stuff. And if there's some outliers, if there's something goes wrong or whatever, I write down what went wrong. Maybe I did a wrong technique and then noticed it too late, and that's why my reps didn't go up or whatever, right? So I'm kind of a nerd for stats and data, so I kind of record basically everything about my workouts. And that makes it very easy to track how much progress you made, because not only does it help you see, okay, yeah, I've been stagnant for 3 weeks. It also makes you see, okay, yeah, I've been making good strides. I've been steadily going up with my reps, so maybe it's time to introduce more weight. Okay. I know that there are other people out there, my best friend only writes down how many reps he does, how many sets he does, and not the weights or anything. He just kind of writes down the exercise, writes down 4 sets of 10, and then just goes at it. Okay. And he does more depending on how he likes. I have another friend who doesn't record anything. He just kind of goes to the gym. He knows what exercises he wants to do, but he doesn't write down anything else. Okay, so he just like, okay, I want to do bench press on the machine because the bench is always used by the powerlifters because obviously it is. So he writes down, okay, yeah, I want to do bench press 4 sets, and not even 4 sets. He just writes down, I want to do bench press, and then he does bench press until he can't no more. Basically, but for me, that doesn't really work. I kind of need to track it because that motivates me. So my yardstick is always, I want to be at least a little better than the weeks before. So I look at the reps that I did the week before and the weight I did the week before, and I always kind of try to one-up myself every week, like when I go through my workout plan. And that works great most of the time, but when you're plateauing, it kind of slows down a lot. And I've noticed that sometimes it even goes backwards a little bit just to come back a week later. Maybe you just have a bad day, right? So you do less reps and you can't use as much weight or whatever. There's a lot of external factors that play into this, but when you're plateauing hard, and the way I did, it kind of feels like you're not making any progress at all, because I look at the data from the last 2 months. I look at all the sets that I did, and I notice, okay, yeah, I've barely gone up with my reps. I haven't gone up with my weights. This doesn't work for this is not the same for every exercise, but like most of them, right? So that kind of leaves you in a state where like, why? Why is it not as easy to keep going and to do more than the week before as it was when you started out, right? When you were still like conditioning your body, when you still had the newbie gains going on. Why is it not as easy as it was? And well, you can look at it that way, but that only demoralizes you. And I think it's toxic to yourself, because not only do you devalue your hard work, but you also rob yourself of motivation to keep going harder. And I think this plays into a different kind of topic that I want to touch on today, which I'll touch on in another video. I already have that laid out. I kind of want to, but I want to go into it a little bit today, because that's also something I've noticed. And ever since I kind of reframed that whole thing, it kind of felt easier for me to make progress again, especially in the gym, because as I said at the start, making progress in the gym is very tangible. It's very easy to tell when you're making progress. So that's always kind of my yardstick to go for. So in life, obviously, you have 24 hours in a day, at least 8 of which you should be spending sleeping every night. At least 2 of which are going to be lost on eating every day. Maybe half of it, half an hour is going to be lost on shitting. And if you're like me, you also have a 40-hour job. That's another 40 hours from the week just gone. So there's only a limited time that you have in a day that you can spend on things that you actually want to spend them on, like going to the gym, working on a business, reading, learning, whatever it may be, right? So I found that it is very, very beneficial to compartmentalize your work, to compartmentalize your time, and to get better at focusing on certain things. What I mean by that is that if you split your focus between too many things, it can often just be detrimental to your progress overall. When instead what you should be doing is, or what I found works better, is that you should be focusing on a small number of things and put more time and effort into those, rather than splitting it up between a ton of small things that you could be doing. And so what I found is that it's better, or what works for me and what might work for you is, I went through my days. I went through like 3 weeks. As I said, I'm kind of a data nerd, so I wrote down what I did every day for the past 3 weeks. I wrote it down with kind of timestamps, and I noticed that I fractured a lot of my work. So instead of being like, okay, I have this 3-hour block that I can do business stuff in, and then another 2-hour block where I do music, and then another hour where I record stuff like this, right? I always like split it up. So I would have like half an hour business, then I would go to the gym, and then I would record a video, and then I would do another half an hour of business. So I split the business time right down the middle, and what that just did is I kind of wasted at least half an hour of that trying to think back into it, right? So what I should have done instead was just do 1 hour of business. That would mean like 15 minutes to work into it, half an hour to write something down or formulate something, and then just 15 minutes to kind of wrap it up. Okay. What I did instead was I did half an hour, 15 minutes of which were just working into it. Then I did 15 minutes of concentrated work. Then I had to do something else, or I did something else. And then later on, I went for another half hour, 15 minutes of which were again spent working into it. And then I did another 15 minutes of concentrated work, which in the end just meant that my work was really lackluster and I was not making any progress. And I feel like this has been an issue for a long time with many things, and I think that now I kind of understand a lot better how to more effectively plan your work. See, it's not about just spending a set amount of time on a thing. It's about using that time as efficiently as you fucking can. Okay, so what I do now is, instead of being like, okay, I go to the gym and then after that I do this and this and this and this and this, I'd be like, okay, today's gym day. Okay, so after work I go to the gym, then I go home, then I eat stuff because I want to gain weight again. Okay, I'm sick of plateauing. I hate this shit. I want to be fucking ripped. Okay, I want to get big, so I eat a ton. That also takes a bunch of time. Then I read something because after eating a lot, I'm not really in the mood to work, and then it's already bedtime. So that's the day gone, and I'm happy with that, because the other days where I'm not going to the gym, because I can only afford to go to the gym every other day, I do business stuff. So today is such a day, right? I come home from work, I eat something, then I sit down and do either this right here, do YouTube, or do something for the business. I don't do both in the same day, because that would again create like a split right down the middle. And what I found in the 1.5 weeks that I've been doing this so far is that the progress it has almost quadrupled, right? The amount of work I've been able to get done, the amount of progress I've made in the gym, even just in 1 fucking week, and the amount of time I have to wind down in the evening and get a healthy amount of sleep, it's incredible. Like, I didn't think that just rearranging my work tasks a bit would... I don't do less work, I don't spend less time working on things. It's just that I've compartmentalized that time a lot better. And ever since then, progress just magically returned. And I'm gonna keep you updated on this. I will touch on this if I remember. I'll touch on this in the next video where I go a bit more into the whole focus part. But I just want you to understand now that if you're struggling with making progress, if you feel like progress has been slowing down a lot, or you're not even making any tangible progress anymore, I would really, really, really encourage you to just go sit down, write down what you do in a day. Just have like this little note on your phone, and every time you do something in a day, you just write down, okay, I did this for this amount of time between, let's say, 2 p.m. to 2:30. I don't know, cleaned the fridge or something. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Just write down everything you do in a day from the second you get up to the second you go to bed. You just write all that down, and you do that for like 2 weeks, and then you go back through your notes and you look at how much time you have spent effectively working on stuff, and how much time was just wasted by you splitting up tasks right down the middle instead of doing them in one go. And I will guarantee you, within just a couple of weeks of implementing that and kind of compartmentalizing your work better, you'll see amazing results. Hey, again, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope I could help you with what I just told you. And again, there's a link down in the description below. It's the first link. You can click on that. You can book an appointment with me because I'd love to get to know you, and I'd love to know what bothers you or what creates problems in your life, and maybe we can come to a solution together. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and until next time.